Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast for conscious, cycle-breaking parents ready to turn toddler tantrums into teachable moments. Hi, I'm Cara Tyrrell, a lifetime lover of littles, mom to 2 grown and flown girls, and an early childhood educator. Through the show, I teach you my collaborative parenting methodology for nurturing your little human's mind, body, and spirit. Because how you connect and collaborate in the first 5 years is how you raise happy, healthy kids who grow into the best version of themselves and find true success in school and life. Welcome back to the show. This is part of a series that I did where I turned it over to you, the listeners, the moms, the dads, the educators, to share with me what your struggles are, and I'll do an episode all about them. So thank you to all of you who have submitted your questions or your struggles. And today I have a huge shout out to Whitney. Thank you, Whitney, for this question. How do I run my home-based business while also having a toddler who does not go to daycare? Whew, now that is a question. And of course, I'm not going to be able to really cover everything in this 11-minute episode, but here are the nuggets that I have gleaned over 2 decades of being a serial entrepreneur while raising kids at the same time. The first thing is, when you are working, you're working. When you're working on your business, you are focused on your business. And when you are focused on being a mom, you're focused on being a mom. Separating those in a mindset capacity is huge. I remember once when I was in a doctor's office, because we don't have cable TV, so I don't often see the talk shows, but I was in a doctor's office and I saw the Kelly Clarkson show on TV, and I caught this 30-second clip. And she said, when asked, how do you do everything that you do? Sing your songs and do your talk show and be a mom, and I don't know what else she does, but I think there's more to it. She said, I love my family, but when I'm here, I'm here. I am Talk Show Kelly. And when I'm home, I am all about them. I do not think about this show. I do not engage conversation around this show. I don't take texts about the show. I am all in as their mom when I'm there as their mom. And it really struck me that emotionally segregating and giving yourself full permission for this 2-hour time block, I am running my business. That's what I'm doing. And I show my family I love them and value them and respect them by putting my full and total attention for these 2 hours into running my business, doing the tasks that make this possible. So I just said one of my other recommendations, which is time blocking. Once you give yourself the freedom and the permission to separate your focus and really own it, well, then you need to know what those blocks are. I've definitely tried over the years, well, I'll fit that in where I can. I'll get to that when. And then that part of the day never arrived. Maybe they didn't nap that day, or maybe my husband ended up having to work late that day, or maybe, like so often happens, we had a mom emergency and we ended up at the clinic that day. The time blocking is key. Whether that means that you are adjusting your day to get up earlier, to stay later, to fit it in around times that you know those kiddos of yours will be occupied, will be at an event with a friend, will be out with dad doing a tumbling class. going to that Saturday afternoon birthday party and your mom's taking them. Whether you fit it in then or you figure it out day by day. And that's another permission I really want to give you. As a high achiever, as a big dreamer, as somebody who is building a business while you're raising babies, we are very often type A, very organized, very systematized people. And sure, time blocking fits into part of a system mentality. But what I used to try to do is do it for the whole week. And then I would look at what happened and I lost that block because I was so rigidly connected to what I had planned. And I was so frustrated it wasn't working out the way I intended it to. Yes, we have to have some type of a flow and a flexibility for just the way the world happens around us. But if you can spend the last 20 minutes of your day before you go to bed, they're already in bed, looking at tomorrow. Where does that block fit in tomorrow? Okay, they have a well child check at 9 a.m. and I've got to make sure that I get to the bank before it closes at 4:30. Where in the middle is a block that you are pretty confident that you can spend some time working just on your business? The other thing I noted in your question, you ended it #send help. And you know what? You're exactly right. You need help. You do. And it's okay to ask for it. It's a sign of strength. It's a sign of confidence. And I was that person who never wanted to ask for help without offering it in return. Reciprocation is very important to me. I didn't want to feel like I was asking something of somebody I wasn't willing to do myself. So instead of just saying, could you watch my kids between 11 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. on Wednesday? I decided it felt more comfortable for me, and you decide what works for you. If you're willing to do that and you're just ready to say, hey, I need some help, then good for you, mama. When my kids were young, I would say, hey, I really need 3 hours uninterrupted to go weed the Brookfield. At the time, we owned a family farm. We ran a CSA. It was very labor intensive. And when they were tiny, it was one thing, right? They just hang out next to me, whatever, in the field. But when they got bigger and they were running the other direction, I could not do what I told you in the beginning of this episode. I couldn't just focus on the job at hand. I was splitting my attention. I was dividing who I needed to be for my kids and who I needed to be in the field. And none of it got done well or 100%. Could you watch my kids for 3 hours and have a little play date at your house while I do this? And in return, I would like to take your kids for 3 hours sometime this week so you can go do something that you really want to get done with uninterrupted time. Playdate swapping became golden. And there's this really cool thing that happens when you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you have that time coming up that will be all yours. It's this psychological anticipation, and it's subconscious. You don't trigger it. You just know. When our brain knows something to be 100% true, it believes it's already happened. And when it believes that, it relieves you of all the anxiety and the overwhelm and the stress and the I should haves and I could haves and I need to be's and why didn't I's. And it just sits confidently in that knowing. You get to at that time on that day. The last thing that I will say is to know exactly what you want to accomplish during that time block. prioritizing tasks so that you are doing the things that move the needle the most and move the needle the fastest is really key. I used to spend way too much of that precious time doing things that actually made no difference in my business. That is a whole nother story. That's a whole nother course, not taught by me, by the way. I have taken masterminds and masterful courses taught by strong, beautiful, competent women who know exactly what that process needs to look and sound like to help you evolve. That's not me. But I can tell you the sense of accomplishment going into a work block. I'm fully present. I know my kids are safe and being provided for and loved and cared for. They're having fun. And saying, I got these 4 things done. And I am really proud about that. Not only that, I know that when the newsletter that I spent 30 minutes writing goes out this week, it's really going to resonate with everybody. And I know that the 3 Instagram reels that I spent time putting together were well thought out. They have a really strong message and they're going to resonate with people. And I know that the podcasts that I sat down and recorded felt really good. And I can't wait for people to hear them because their heart is going to resonate with them. Do you hear this word that I used 3 times? Your working time needs to be prioritized by things that resonate with your audience, resonate with your people, because that will cause them to take further action. The action of getting on your email list, the action of grabbing your freebie, the action of grabbing your low ticket offer. Those actions bring them closer into your little sphere world without you having to do anything more in that moment. Yes, there's admin stuff, of course, that you've got to work on too. But if you can balance that by prioritizing activities that create things that resonate with your admin work, then you're going to walk away from that block of time saying, yeah, I did it. I did what I needed to do. I feel really good about it. And now I'm ready to re-engage in parenting without those things nagging in the back of my mind. It's a bit like training for a marathon. I will not lie. It is really hard to feel that way right in the beginning. We are so conditioned. Always more, always more. Next thing on the list. Isn't on the list? Add it to the list so I can cross it off the list. Just be really good with those 3 or 4 things that you got done. Tell yourself, use that inner beautiful voice of yours. I am choosing things that move my business forward. And when I'm in with my kids, tell yourself, I am fully present with my kids right now. These moments matter. I'm moving this needle of deepening my relationship with my children, showing them I'm listening to their words, engaging in their play, and helping them feel safe and loved. I am doing both jobs, and I'm doing them really well. To Whitney, who posed this question, I hope this helps. I hope you feel just a little bit, I'm allowed to take a breath into all the other parents out there who are building businesses while raising babies. I really do hope that you took a lot out of this episode as well. It would mean the world to me if you would scroll down to the bottom after you're done listening on the app and rate and review the show. Knowing what you feel and what you're taking away and knowing what I need to do more of is how this show continues to touch lives. Until the next episode, stay mindful and proactive as we transform the toddler years.